Night.
Good evening.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Good evening. The Red Bank Historic Preservation Commission will hold a special meeting on Wednesday, November 12th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at 90 Monmouth Street, Red Bank, New Jersey. Adequate notice of this meeting has been posted at Borough Hall, filed with the Borough Clerk, and provided to the Asbury Park Press. The commission has maintained a policy cutoff hour of 8:30 p.m. for its hearings that are scheduled at normal time. This is a special meeting, so tonight we are going to have to cut off at 7 p.m. because there's a planning board meeting in here. And one of the items on the agenda is on the planning board agenda, so it's important we get through that. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the
United States
of America.
to the
The
republic.
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and
Liberty,
justice
yeah.
for all.
May we have a roll call?
Louis Almarini,
Present.
Marjorie Cavalier,
Present.
Liam Collins,
Present.
Paul Kiagno,
Present.
Karen Smelskoff. Present. Anthony Sotero absent, Michael White,
Here.
and Betsy Valera. Here.
Thank you. Before we go any further, does anyone present have any comments on the agenda? Administrative matters of the meeting minutes, the minutes of the meeting of October 15th. I trust everyone has had a chance to go over them.
I didn't. I'm gonna have to abstain.
Okay. Well, you weren't present, so.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Do I have a motion to approve and a second?
I can second.
Thank you.
Need a first. Oh,
Karen.
Karen. Sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Except for three. Well, Paul, Liam, you were absent too, so.
Oh,
Or
okay.
did he read them online? I didn't read them online. He could vote on it if he read it online.
Is that right? I
Yeah.
thought you had to be here to be able to.
No, well, no. He could read them online.
Robert's rules.
Yeah, I just didn't have a chance.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's move through the reports. We'll start with the Minor Works Committee.
The Minor Works Committee met, met virtually to discuss a sign. I think we're still in the process of discussing the sign. We haven't made a decision yet.
Sign on what address?
Monmouth Street address.
This is-
65.
65 Monmouth Street.
Is that,
It's next to Barefoot Bride.
okay,
It's a
Across from
law.
the Big 11.
right, yeah, no, yes, okay.
All right, so the
At the next
committee's,
meeting, we'll report back.
Sure,
that's right. Committee's continuing to consider it.
okay,
Do you have a report on the River Center?
yes, that's what we considered today and we.
Okay.
Oops, sorry. That's how we considered today's sign and it was, everybody voted yes for the sign.
Okay.
Okay, that's why I was asking.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Is that the extent of the River Center business?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving to the Historic Sites Designation Design Guidelines Committee.
Okay, so we're gonna do the design guidelines next. So I'm just going to say the second part of it is the survey of the properties, historic properties, which will be a separate booklet and also separately online. And 20 out of the 75 properties have been surveyed.
And these are all properties within,
The business district.
excellent.
Sorry I'm late. I hit so much traffic.
Actually, your timing is
Glad to have you.
perfect. So now we will,
Yes, so that's it.
okay, good. So we can move ahead with the HPC design guidelines. And see if there are any comments before we, well,
Well, Steven's on, so I don't
Is
know if he
Steven on?
wants, yes. I don't know if he has anything to add or want to share.
Stephen?
Hi, everyone.
Oops.
Not much to add beyond the version in front of you incorporates the comments discussed back in August and October, and then the ones I received subsequently via email. I think overall it's a really strong set of design guidelines, and I hope you guys, advance it tonight.
Do any members of the design guidelines committee?
Committee?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we're happy with the draft as is. And I would make a motion to approve.
Can
Do
I
I have-
ask a question first? Hi, it's Paul. Shauna?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right. So I just had a question because I know that Lou and myself and Anthony and maybe some of the other members were also inquiring at one of the meetings, and I didn't see it in the guidelines. That's why I'm asking under windows. How are we handling black frame windows in the historic district? I didn't see it under the windows section, so I don't know. Does that give us, we have these set of guidelines. When something comes in and it's not addressed in the guidelines, do we use our experience and our knowledge to make a decision on what we want to propose to them? My understanding of black windows was always historically more prevalent in commercial buildings, industrial buildings throughout Red Bank, and you didn't necessarily see them in residential buildings. Now we do have the new renovation at 65 Washington Street. She wound up putting in what I've come to learn after this weekend, after going to the open house, what she's calling bronze windows. If you look at them from the street, they look black, but she's calling them bronze. And quite frankly, she wasn't very happy with putting them in. There must have been a misunderstanding, because she was telling me, though, I had to put the bronze in. I had to put the bronze in. I said, why did you have to put the bronze in? I said, she goes, well, I was told I had to do bronze. And, so I said, that doesn't really make sense to me. But she did make that comment to me, which was, I personally, I think you probably all know that I'm not a fan of the black windows on residential buildings. So, Stephen, if you could address that, if it's not addressed in the guidelines, how do we address it going forward?
I think it's addressed under guideline 5 for the windows about primary windows. It's not as specific as getting into the color of the muttons. I do think that's something you can certainly look at when you get like a specific cut sheet, but it is potentially going a little bit beyond the HPC's position that you don't review paint color or kind of color in general. But guideline 5 under windows speaks to matching historic profiles, operations, and mutton patterns. And if the muttons are a very dark color, they're not going to be very discernible. So I don't think it would be meeting that guideline if they were black on black.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And there's also a very kind of elaborate matrice on pages 87 and 88 in the appendix about appropriate types of windows. Some of which do offer black muttons, but many of the ones toward the left, the more appropriate ones, do not.
Thank you.
I had a question or a comment under the demolition section. And I was just wondering if it's necessary or if that's maybe more under the zoning board jurisdiction. But if in the case that a demolition was approved, to have maybe a plan in place ahead of time for what the new structure will look like before the demolition was approved. I didn't see that anywhere in the wording. I didn't know if it again would be under the HPC guidelines, or if that's something that the planning or zoning board would have in their ordinance.
So you're asking, Liam, that if somebody gets approval to demolish a building, if we have any authority to input on the design of what replaces that building?
Yes,
Yes,
the replacement plan should be in place before the old structure is taken down.
right. We do not have that authority.
Okay, that was my question. If who does have that authority then?
I don't think anybody does. I mean, if somebody were to take down a building on Broad Street and they got approval to take down that building because for whatever reason, we can't tell them to make it look like the other buildings on Broad Street.
Why
that-
not?
Well,
You
Michelle,
regulate new construction.
right?
So part of the
Right, Michelle. Yeah, press that button right there at the bottom.
There are criteria to be followed for demolition, which include the consideration of the character and quality of the existing building, the justification for its demolition, et cetera. So assuming they go through all of those criteria, and let's assume the criteria for demolition are satisfied, and they want to come in and build another building, and it's in a historic district, then it's covered by new construction guidelines. They're usually very difficult, but you can't, the demolition, the criteria doesn't determine what's going in there in the future.
So just if I could just quote that on page 58, says, and specifically in the business district, new storefronts offers opportunity to achieve compatibility with the historic streetscape. Although non-contributing buildings may lack architectural significance, their storefronts can be designed to reflect the traditional features and rhythms of the nearby contributing historic buildings. Newburgh should emphasize that is typical of the 19th and 20th century commercial buildings. So we are saying this is a guideline. This is not necessarily a must do, but we're putting forward what we hope will maintain the character of Red Bank. And as noted in the very beginning of the book, purpose and intent of the guidelines, it says each application is considered on a case-by-case basis, and the HPC retains the discretion to weigh the guidelines accordingly. So somebody comes to us, we look at the guidelines, we now have something that, it's not just, well, I think, or Karen thinks, or, Lou thinks. We have this book to offer us some ways that we can suggest, and then we give our recommendation to the planning board. And so we're not saying you must, because you have no idea about what everything should be considered.
Okay, so new construction in the historic district then has to come before the HPC.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, that's helpful.
all right, thank you.
Any other comments?
Any other comments, or
So I still have a motion that hasn't been
I
seconded.
would like to do one other thing, which is
Open it to the public.
open it to the public for comments or questions before we put this to a vote, especially in the context of all comments made so far.
Are there any comments or questions from anybody in the audience? Thank you.
So
Make a motion to accept the guidelines.
do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay. Sal Marini,
In favor?
Marjorie Cavalier,
Yes,
Liam Collins,
Aye.
Paul Cagno,
Yes,
Karen Smelsko,
Yes,
Michael White,
Yes.
and Betsy Valera.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Very good.
Congratulations.
So Michelle,
Congratulations.
Thank you. Well
Michelle-
done.
if you could just for the public and for the board to just talk about the next step of approval, just to run it down for everyone.
So the guidelines will now be sent up for adoption. And I don't know whether or not they've been their advisory to the planning board yet, but it depends on, that at a certain point in time, if council introduces these guidelines, then they would have to be referred to the planning board for the planning board's report and its consistency with the historic element of the master plan. And then will go back for a second reading before the governing body, which is the time that there will be a public hearing on it. And if they adopt it, it will then become integrated into your existing historic preservation ordinance as the regulatory guidelines that you will be following. These are extremely well done. I think you're going to find that it makes a very big difference in terms of how you're able to handle your work. I've seen a lot of versions of these, and this is a particularly well, all of you work together so well to create this, so.
thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. You did a great job.
I think Paul has a comment.
yes, thank you. I just had a question. If it goes to the planning board and they read it and decide that there's something that they don't like about it, what becomes of it? Do they get to change it right there, or would they send it back to us?
They do not have to send it back to the commission, but ordinarily, that's what happens. There should be, you're all one governing, you all work together collaboratively. So many times like a planning board, if they had some comments or questions, they'll feed it back. I strongly recommend that when it does get introduced on first and adopted on first reading, when it gets sent over to the planning board, that you have a representative present at those meetings, because sometimes you can just answer the questions right there and then.
So it's at 7:00.
So we can stay.
Oh, so
Yes,
technically, I just want to fill in Michelle. So Christina had suggested that before it goes to the council for first reading, that the planning board gets a presentation beforehand. So they're not going to take formal action this afternoon, but Stephen is going to mention after the 7 o'clock. So we're hoping to get out all the kinks at this meeting. If planning board has any issues, they've had the document for over a month now, I think, or less than a month, but they've had it for some time.
Right.
The final draft.
Right.
and I plan on staying for that meeting in case they have questions about our process and any kind of things that they need clarification.
Yeah.
So,
I will stay as well.
And I had recommended as well that you have this step with the planning board so that, because let's assume the planning board were to propose changes after it was introduced. Then when it comes up for second reading, if there's a substantial change, it can't be adopted. It has to be reintroduced. So this just smooths out the process and makes all the partners in the process together. So it's a great idea. I was unaware that that was being done this evening, but it's,
Gonna knock it all out.
yes, well,
in time for Christmas gifts.
yes.
That's my goal.
Well, I wouldn't be too optimistic about getting it adopted at council level because they have to advertise, they have to prepare it, they have to put the cut. So and they don't like to separate first reading. No, it's very rare for a town to separate the first and second reading into a different calendar year. In fact, there are many municipal attorneys who take the position that you can't do it based on some technicalities in the law governing the adoption of ordinances.
Hmm.
So there has to be a certain period of time, so it may not be adopted in this calendar year, but I can see very easily happening in 26. I think the fact that you are able to have gone through this and you spent so much time and were so careful about these, that's a really good Christmas gift. But if the council is able to do the first and second, that, like, it's, next week's gone because it's the league and you have Thanksgiving and all of a sudden what do you have?
So I don't know that I'm gonna be reappointed. I haven't heard one way or the other.
I don't think anybody's.
I mean, because this is
No.
my term is
Your
up,
term is up.
right?
So can we discuss it later, just because we are on a.
Oh, okay.
And we do have an applicant.
Mhm.
Good. All right, excellent. So we can move to new business. Got a decent amount of time left. So 62 Washington Street.
If you can use, forgot which mic that works. I think this one works. Yeah, so just bring it really close to you. December, I was told December. Can't wait. I know. Just tap the microphone. Nope, so it's the next one. Sorry, it's the next one that works. Go that one. Yeah. No, that was my fault. I forgot which one. But
Got a
it's-
50-50 shot at
It
it.
is. And just bring it really close to you.
I'm just tapping where here.
There you go. It works.
That's a good sign. Yes,
Okay. How are you?
very good.
Good. Yeah, so we are purchasing a home at 62 Washington Street. And we are looking to make a few changes on the outside. Mainly, changing the paint color to a different color. Right now it's blue, and we're looking to do a color called Randolph Stone, which is on the Benjamin Moore Williamsburg collection. So I believe the Williamsburg collection kind of adheres to historic colors. And then additionally, we are looking to on the side elevation of the home. Sorry, are you able to hear me?
I just want to make sure that Zoom hears you, but I'm good.
Yeah, okay. There's one window on the side elevation of the home in the back of the house that we're looking to close in order to have a more functional kitchen on the interior. And then we also were looking at we're going to need to replace the windows and the doors. They're both in very poor shape. The house has been neglected for a long time. And then there is also a couple of chimneys above that we were thinking about removing, just because they're rather large in the interior of the home. They're not actually fireplaces, they're just sort of non-functional. So I have plans and everything, and I have a bunch of photos. I don't know what you guys need, but happy to share anything with you and any questions.
Could we pass the photos around?
Oh, yeah.
Some,
I also have
Yeah.
plans as well, if you want to see exterior plans.
Do that. So you're replacing the front door?
We are looking to replace the front door, yes. It's rotted at the bottom.
But you're keeping the design of the front door with the stained glass at the top?
It's not a regular transom window, but yeah, we would keep the up top. And then this is a material list as well, and then just some photos. The general condition of, the siding and stuff, and why we're looking to I forgot to mention, we're looking to replace the siding because the house has a lot of termite damage. So, get my microphone. The siding of the house is really not in repairable condition.
I really like the color.
On the plans, you had mentioned that there is a basement level window.
Oh, yes.
As the basement is kind of
Not really.
mostly above grade.
Yes.
But there is a window that is blocked off right now.
Looking to reopen that.
Okay, and you had a rendering of the after.
Yeah.
Look of it. It didn't look like the window had been opened unless I was looking at.
Yeah, we tried to do some ChatGPT and it didn't quite do exactly what we.
Okay.
Unfortunately. It
Well,
would be the same, two.
a basic question. So the way it is now, that basement level, it follows the contours of the bay window above it, right? When you open it up, is the window going to be recessed and level with the plane of the rest of the front of the basement? Or is it going to follow the contours of the bay window and the open window at the basement level will be directly above the middle bay of the bay window?
So it would be, the window would be in the middle bay, and yes, I think the plan is, keep it sort of in line with the foundation.
That basement level has a bay.
Yes, it does.
Oh, okay. I can't, because
I know, it's hard to say.
some more temporary houses, it's not unusual. Builder sticks a bay and it overhangs.
No, this goes all the way down to.
Okay.
Yes, I'm done.
It's a shame those doors can't be safe because
Yeah.
at least from the street, they're beautiful.
They are, yeah, there's a lot of damage and locking mechanisms no longer work. On the inside, there's just like these sort of bolts. So unfortunately, there's not really great shape. So we're looking to do like a wooden door with like a 3/4 type thing. Similar to actually what 65 has across the street. But I think we're open to suggestions, so.
Well, we'd encourage something that at the end of the day looks like the door that's there now, obviously redone structurally, so it's new.
Right, okay.
And tell us about the roof and your plans for the roof.
Yeah, so it is a slate roof, looks like it's original. We want to save it. There are some areas of the roof that are missing some shingles, so the plan would be to try to patch in, matching shingles if we can. That's our first preference, and if we can't do that, I did in the documents that I sent you some photos of some other options as well. I looked up architectural slate looking shingles, and then also synthetic slate shingles. But our first preference would definitely be to keep that roof because it has some beautiful detailing. But we need to be able to find the appropriate pieces that fit in where there's some spots missing.
Were you aware that the former owner of your house has a Wikipedia page, James Avati?
No, but I'd be very curious to hear about that because we have been trying to do some research on who all the owners were.
Well, he was a famous illustrator, and he designed a lot of paperback covers. And his father is also a famous New York City photographer.
What was his name again?
James Avati, A-V-A-T-I.
Thank you.
I can also connect you with someone who does research of prior owners of.
That would be great. Yeah, we're actually trying to find some original photos of the home if we can somewhere. So we'd love to be able to incorporate those into the artwork of the house, so that we haven't quite had any luck yet, but we're working on it.
I have a question.
Oh,
Sorry,
go
Liam.
ahead, Paul.
Okay. I was looking at, so it looks like you also are going with the black windows, is that right? And if you can explain, how are you going to maintain the historic character in the windows if you were to paint them black?
So we're looking.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm just concerned, and are the windows, the woodwork around the windows are going to be white and then with the black? Is that what the plan is? You know, it's
Yeah.
just, and this is just it's my opinion, and the other members may disagree. But it's just following this trend of, you know, these farmhouse style windows in these historic homes. I don't think this is more of a renovation than a restoration, right? I mean, because that's just it's my opinion of it. I don't think it brings back the character of the house. I personally speaking, with the black windows, I'm not a fan of it. And I don't know how you're going to maintain the character of the house with the black window. I just think it totally changes the character and the look of the house from the street.
The black windows for us are not a deal breaker. We would be open to doing white windows. You know, we do like the look of the black windows. And in order to, you know, stay with the original appearance, and I've done a little research on, I guess, the, you know, what it looked, what homes in the, you know, in the 19th century, you know, was that a common thing? And there's, you know, I think some conflicting thoughts about that. Some people, you know, some things I've read have said that there was a lot of windows that were, you know, dark greens and dark like bronze and black and things like that. Then others say it's, you know, more traditional white. So the with that being said, the trim that we're looking to do now, the trim that's all on the outside of the home, we're looking to maintain all of that and just sand it down and repaint it. All that we're looking to do is called parish white. Is more of a like off-white, creamy colored almost. So, you know, I was just a little bit concerned with doing the white windows with this kind of cream color because I thought it might be a little bit, you know, too stark. And that's why we had originally discussed maybe doing the black or the bronze.
That's a good notion, and
Yeah.
I think we would agree with that. Are there windows available that would match the parish white?
I don't think so. Usually these window makers, they have sort of, you know, a menu of colors and it's like 3 or 4 colors. There might be something that's somewhat close to it. I know I did see some taupey looking windows that we could do, although I don't know that that would be any better, but
You could almost kind of reverse engineer it where you find a manufacturer that has windows you like in a color that's close to parish white, not quite there, and then just match the paint to the windows.
right,
And it wouldn't be parish white.
Right.
Historical, you know, Benjamin Moore collection, but the overall result, I think, would preserve the look of the buttons and the,
Yeah.
you know, better than having the problem with either bronze or black
Right.
is that it just washes into it. It's a completely different, more modern look. I know it's very trendy now. On cars, opera windows were a big thing in the 70s. Now people make, you know, there are none left on the road. It's just to keep in mind,
Hmm.
it's a trendy thing.
Yes.
And now also windows 20 years from now might need to be replaced anyway. So we can't, I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker for us either, but you know, our preference is when you're gonna renovate, restore something as, you know, whether it's homes, automobiles, bring it as close as possible to what was there originally.
right, understood.
So that's the spirit.
And I think we're open to that, you know, we're not married to the black windows.
Yeah.
But I do think white would just be a little stark with that sort of cream
Yeah.
color that we're doing on the outside. So maybe there's, you know, a taupey or creamy window that I can find that.
Well, if the windows, if they make a bronze that matches the siding, that moves it in a direction where you're, oh, okay, I see what's going on. Because, I mean, there are plenty of, as you mentioned, there are plenty of historic homes where they blended colors and they would repeat colors within elements of the home. So.
Yeah.
But stark black, certainly, unless there's other black in the exterior to tie into it, would just look like, it would almost look like you went out and bought cheap vinyl black windows because they were in the clearance aisle.
I understand.
Yeah, I agree with Liam also on that. You know, I think if you're concerned about the white window abutting a parish white, that it's going to stand out. I think the black would stand out probably 10 times more against the white. personally, and I know that color is subjective, but I do believe in my heart that you will be so happy by not doing the black and being sucked into this trend of farmhouse historic home, which I am not a fan of, as I've said. But in any event, I agree with what Lou said there, with respect to trying to match the window. And I don't think you would be that disappointed with a white on parish white personally. But if you needed to match the parish, I think that would be the better way to go as well. So thank you. By the way, I love that house. One of my favorite houses in the entire district.
Us too.
It is beautiful.
Thank you.
So can I just show you a picture on the future cover where the outside wood is like a buff color and then the window is white?
Okay,
So,
is that, can I see?
yeah, so, I mean, that just gives you an idea. And your color match would be not as obvious as that
Right.
either.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're definitely open to doing the white windows. It's not a deal breaker for us, really.
okay.
I wanted to just reemphasize that that is one of the last slate roofs left in Washington Street. So if you were able to salvage that, it would be really great. The other thing I was going to mention is about the front door. If you're looking for a master carpenter, I have contacts in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, with the Amish community, and they might be able to help you if you needed to get a custom made that would replicate that door. So Shauna can give you my contact details if you need to get a hold of me.
Thank you. I mean, is the only, I'm not opposed to doing the full solid door. I do like to have the glass only to be able to see out. Is that something that you guys would be opposed to having a partial glass door?
I'm not opposed to a glass in the door.
I think the shape of the door is probably more important.
Yeah, I mean,
You kept the design.
Hey, you want to stand back and look tall and
Yeah.
think,
So,
oh, that looks like the original door.
Right.
That's when you know you.
We're gonna try actually, I mean, maybe, maybe go to like one of these architectural salvage places. Find something that maybe would fit in there. Probably a little bit hard to find those dimensions, otherwise we will most likely have to get something custom made, but I think we would prefer to have the glass because it's just easier to see out of.
right.
And, back to the roof. One thing you might consider if, in terms of salvaging at least the most important part of the roof, I assume that roof goes all around the house.
Yes.
So it's possible that you may be able to collect enough shingles from the back run to replace the damaged ones in the front
Right.
that are visible from the street
Then do something else in the back.
and do, I think you had in your plans indicated there was a vendor that sells,
Yes,
basically it's composite slate. It looks like slate,
yes,
but something like that along the back. And that way it would be restored.
Right.
The part that's visible to.
yeah, no, I mean, we're definitely, we're going to do everything that we can to save that slate roof because.
It's lasted hundreds of years.
Exactly. And, as old as it is, and, it does have a few things wrong with it, it's actually still in pretty decent shape, quite honestly, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
So it's just a few missing.
Are there leaks?
There's no leaks right now.
Oh, that's a very good sign.
Now, the top roof is, like a regular asphalt, three-dimensional roof. The slate is not up on the top part of it. So I think, because it's a mansard roof, maybe the water just kind of runs down. You're not really getting leaking, but we have not seen any leakage.
Yeah, just the house across the street
Yep.
that has been completely redone.
Yes,
That was leaking all over the place. That was unfortunately not salvageable, which is too bad because it was a great looking roof.
it's also a slate roof.
That was Slate, yeah, yeah, and they were interested in saving it, but part of it was too far gone. And it was leaking all over, there was water damage everywhere. So it's good, in a way, the design that house has with the asterisk on the top, the. So that.
So once you replace the shingles on the roof, are you also planning on getting it clean? Because it does look like it's been weathered.
Yes. It's it definitely needs a nice soft washing because it's got a lot of stains, so that would be part of our plan as well.
Okay, thank you.
And the replacement siding would be,
Hardy board is what we're looking to do, the 5%, just smooth, and then we would paint it with that the color, the Randolph stone is what it's called.
okay. All right, any other comments or questions?
I had a
Um,
question on the siding. So the siding is going to remain in terms of I mean, you're going to replace the siding with the Hardy, but it's going to be the same, for lack of a better word, I mean, format is not the same word, but it's going to be the same.
Clapboard.
Well, like it's like, in other words, it's going to look like the siding looks now, except it's going to be replaced Hardy board. Is that right?
Correct.
Right. It's not going to be like the little shingles up front and then the long shingles on the back, right? It's going to be like how they currently had it.
Clap, they call it pine flat Hardy siding, but it resembles a clapboard siding.
Okay. Yeah, I know there was some discussion about the siding. I get, we all understand that the Hardy board will last you forever. With that being said, there are contractors, there's a contractor in Montclair who comes down here and can make wood look like new. And I'm sure you've looked into that. Geekus from Montclair. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but Geekus Contracting from Montclair is incredible. And some other members on the board probably have some contacts if you're interested in restoring the door or interested in restoring the old hardware inside of the house. I know my house has doorknobs in the interior doors that are just beautiful, and we were able to save a lot of those things. And the front door, I know what you're talking about with those latches. I have it on mine, on 65 Wallace, and we were able to save it, and only because Geekus was able to put it back together, and it wasn't terribly expensive. I wouldn't be surprised, depending how badly damaged yours is, that it was cheaper than getting the new custom-made door. But I mean, just keep in mind that there are contractors out there that specialize in this stuff that could be cost-effective for you as well. So it's just one thing that I wanted to add to that. But I'm looking forward to your project, and best of luck with it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And actually, I'd encourage you to take a look at 32 Wallace. It's a home that was recently restored. It actually had asbestos siding on it. They took it over.
House.
Yeah, the greenhouse.
Yes,
And that is wood siding.
that's wood siding. They took
Yeah.
the asbestos siding off and restored the wood siding that was under it. And actually, their trim color, I think, is pretty close to the parish white that you're looking at. And they went with windows that appear to be, they're not parish white, but they're kind of a beigey.
Okay.
They're very complimentary.
Okay. I'll take a look at that house for sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of the windows are original, that also.
Oh, they're painted? That cool.
They're original windows.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, they're not, yeah.
So here's a case where they painted the original windows and
38 Wallace.
not white, but in a complementary color. So it's darker than the parish. Well, here, you want to come over and see this?
32 Wallace.
32 Wallace.
32 Wallace.
They even have a baggage room in that house.
They worked on this for a long time.
It's all like,
Yeah,
Um,
it's nice. It's very nice.
cedar.
I do like the, and this,
Yeah.
I saw on Anderson or one of these window places, they do have this sort of beigey
Yeah.
looking window. So we are open to that as well.
Yeah, that could be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're open to that for sure.
Okay, great.
mhm. Yeah. So I guess we're done with that?
I need to
Yeah.
Oh, I think, Michael, you had a.
Oh, I was just going to say, well, congratulations and welcome to the town. This is a great house and a great district. I do think that if there's something to sacrifice in terms of the changes that you suggest, I would, for me, maybe one of the kitchen window. I mean, it helps to remember that the buildings from this period are rare and, you know, basically like treasures for the town. And the architects who designed them were very principled and had really clear notions and, logical notions of balance and a balance between openness and mystery. For example, when it comes to the state of the sun. There's a tendency sweetness, even in some cases verging on menace. I'm not saying that anything that you're suggesting here is in that category, but that tends to be where it goes. And to some degree, it seems to be at odds with the spirit of Second Empire houses, Gothic, Neo-Gothic. So for me, I feel like it's even the chimneys have a purpose, they have a placement, they have a proportion, they have texture that is part of the overall spirit of the house. Yeah, for me, the door and the slate are almost like, non-starters. The doors might have some glass. It seems like the proposed one is a little too much. Not for my taste, but for the spirit and the logic of this house as a design principle. That's all I want to say.
And as far as the window is concerned on the side there, and we did consider other ways to not cover that window up.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the way that the house is set up on the interior, there's a beautiful arch between the kitchen and the living room. That is pocket doors, very beautiful. So in order for us to keep that arch and have a functional kitchen, we had to close one window. And really the only place that we can have a full wall of cabinetry and still have a functional kitchen really is along that wall.
Yeah.
And so that's why we were proposing that.
I'm just gonna throw something out there, because I just got back from Europe. And in Europe, what I noticed, because that's what I'm looking for, examples, you could leave the window and then just enclose it on the inside. So from the outside,
Looks like
it still maintains that the window was there originally, but it's behind a cabinet from the inside of the house. And there was an example of an abbey where they painted a window on the outside that they couldn't restore because of bombing during World War II. So they wanted the outside to be maintained as it had been prior to the 1940s.
If there are no more comments, I'd like to a motion for vote.
Karen?
Yes.
Oh, Karen wants to make the motion to,
Make the motion?
Okay.
I will second. And then we can give you back your plans. Thank you.
And before we put it to a vote, an option would be, anyone wants to put it to a vote subject to modification. Do that
No, just let them go with it, I think.
as is.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I would
So-
like to put it, I would like to make a motion, then I'll make a second motion to approve it, subject to the conditions that we've discussed. It's subject to not black window. Personally, that was my, if anyone else has any conditions either, but the applicant seemed okay to, with not doing that. So I don't want another situation where the house across the street, I mean, she was pretty clear to me at the open house today that she didn't want to do the black. She felt like she had to, which was bizarre to me. So to me, the application, if he's okay with it, if he's not married to the black, then let's say it, application approved, not married to, not going to do the black windows.
Okay,
And the applicant has nodded his head that he would agree to that, which, as he stated previously.
okay. Good. All right, so now, just for clarity, do we have a motion
With the condition.
with the condition?
I'll do that. I'll amend my motion. What do you say?
On the amended,
Karen's gonna second.
I need a second.
Okay, all right.
proceed with the vote?
Louis Almarini,
Yes.
Marjorie Cavalier,
Yes,
Liam Collins,
I,
Paul Cagno,
Yes.
Karen Schmelzkopf,
Yes.
Anthony
Abstain?
Abstain. Michael White
Yes.
and Betsy Valera.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
thank you. Good luck.
Good luck.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, there's a,
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I made a, let somebody else make the motion.
Oh, I'll make the motion.
That's it, Rob.
Okay, thank you. And a second,
Tomorrow's the library.
second for adjournment? Sure.
Yeah.
We have a second.
I just want to remind everybody that the meeting at the library tomorrow for Q&A is at 6:30 and Stephen will be there. So if anybody wants to attend in the audience.
For the three of us who are on the committee or
Just in the audience, Stephen, specifically, questions and answers.
That is 5 minutes.
Have to move, right?
5 minutes to spare.
I'm not staying in this thing.
No, you don't
think
have to.
because I was supposed to be up here. It's like in a habit that I just sit in this.
Code had to be.
But you put me in the way, say,
So now that this
potential restoration.
application's approved.
And I'll go in and revise your development permit.
Okay, so, and then we can submit the intent to proceed, thing to do with the apartment.
And we moved up.
Oh.
Ed McKenna's my attorney, so he'll be going through. the-
Didn't I do?
No, yeah, I know.
They don't make them.
Okay, all right.
Well,
I'll tell.
The windows are.
And then you
Yeah.
do something at your end, and then he'll submit the application.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I.
Okay, all right.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Many meetings going.
Oh,
Ah,